Hey everybody, joriz here. This video is kind of a difficult video for me to make. Not because I'm like stressing out about it or I have like tears in my eyes right now. No. Well, I'm trying to achieve two things with this video. I'm trying to be informative and also have it contain my personality. And it turns out those two things are very not like they do not work well together. It's like if you tried making a pizza and you just started adding like fish to it. Okay, there's probably like people who actually do eat pizza with fish. Okay, it's like if you put a gun on a pizza, all right? You can't eat that. How am I supposed to eat the gun? All right, it's like it's a gun on a pizza. I can't eat this slice. I can't even cut through it. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do here, and it's been very weird to say the least. Anyways, let's actually jump onto the topic of the video, because this video is not exactly a unique video in itself. A lot of people have talked about the concept of YouTube becoming in general oversaturated. YouTube is getting boring. It's kind of the same, the title of the video. YouTube kind of feels the same. That's the title of the video. I think, maybe, I hope it is. I sound really stupid if it isn't, but I'm not the first person to talk about this, but I do think I have a different perspective on the whole thing, because I'm a new creator. I'm starting out. I'm not exactly established creator. At least for me, most of the people I've seen expressing like their issues or about their disdain for like the current state of YouTube are creators who've like already made it. They already have like a large following, and they've been kind of doing this for like a pretty long time, and I'm someone who hasn't been doing that at all. I started like 3 months ago, very not long time actually. And I think I see a couple issues that they have, and I also have a couple issues with the current state of YouTube, and I share similarities, and I'm just going to talk about this. This entire video is just going to be a mess, I'm going to be honest. Anyways, to kick off the little conglomerate of a mess I'm creating here, I'm going to say a statement that I think most people probably agree with. I think, maybe. Which is, YouTube feels very formulaic. It feels very, like, businessy, oversaturated, like corporate. Like there's probably a million different words to describe the current state of YouTube, and they're probably all on the money. They're probably all right. YouTube in general, or well, YouTubers feel like they're all the same. The majority of the new ones just feel like they're all like kind of just like the same, or doing something that has already been done like a million different times before, with very little to no twist on it at all. And as like a result of this, everything just feels like the same. Everything feels kind of boring, I guess is the way to say it. Which I guess is not like YouTube's not the only one that's like suffering this issue. I think a lot of other mediums are suffering this issue, like games, movies. Actually, like now that I think about it, a lot of like entertainment as a whole is just suffering this issue where everything just feels like the same. Like everyone feels like they're doing like the safe option that they know makes them money, and no one's doing anything unique. Which I guess the big talking point for me, at least, is YouTube is also part of this circle. Anyways, to me, it feels like a lot of people are trying to like quickly make it and do as much shortcuts as possible, get as much like YouTube advice to optimize their content as much as possible, and it's like, I don't know, maybe this is a how do I word this? It feels a little off-putting, I guess, to me at least. I think the whole trend of wanting to make as much money from YouTube as possible is, I mean, I don't have anything against it. I'm not like against people like wanting to get the bag or anything. I don't mind. It's just, it's getting to a point where it's like it's taking over everything, and it's like I want to find other creators that I like who their end goal isn't to just make a bunch of money, or their end goal isn't to like try and keep your attention as long as possible, or watch their videos, or click on their like, oh, I'm doing this super wacky thing. Like I don't want to watch those videos. But the problem is that that's kind of like the only thing that's available now. It's the biggest thing that's available. And if it isn't like the thing that's happening, it's certainly influenced a bunch of other mediums to the point where like this kind of like, how do I explain this? Germa's a very good example, alright? If you watch Germa's videos, they're like the best example of what I'm talking about, because it's just him playing some like random game that nobody's ever heard of. Like, that probably has like 2 people playing, and then like one of them is like the developer, and then the other one is just Germa like messing around. He's a prime example of what I'm talking about, the kind of content that I like on YouTube that's disappearing. The one that has like a personality, and it's just like messing around, and they aren't like clearly there's just like more like passion for like the creativity than there is for like the drive to just make money, or like retain attention as much as possible, or get the biggest click-through rates. His videos are terrible for click-through rates, by the way. I want to mention this. Titles and thumbnails are usually like terrible on his end, and it doesn't matter because he seemingly just doesn't care at all about this. And I think that's like one of the biggest things that I miss about old YouTube, is like how there was like a lot less focus on like monetizing, like retaining attention. I feel like a broken record at this point, just saying the exact same things, but you get the idea. Just optimizing everything to try and get a viewer to watch and click on your video. I should have said that in the reverse order, but you get the idea. To me, I feel like a good way to word this is that I think the more a video is trying to convince me to watch it, the less I actually want to watch the video. Like the more they're trying to clearly like doing like jump cuts every 5 seconds or just having like a super flashy title and thumbnail, like the more like I don't really want to watch that video, at least for me personally, and I have to imagine others probably feel the same way. Now here's the part where being a small YouTuber and also being a huge YouTube nerd kicks in for me. There's a lot of talk about how to disrupt this, how to get around this, how to, well, maybe not like exactly how to get around this, but how to like stop this oversaturation and do something unique and be someone unique. And a lot of the bigger YouTubers are talking about this as well. They're pointing out like, oh, you know, we're hopefully going to see an uptick in like a lot more people being creative or just doing things that they like, or in my end, at least how I'm interpreting it, more people like Jerma, just more Jermas out there. But okay, well, maybe not the serial killer part of Jerma, but like, you know, the more Jermas. But here's the thing, and maybe like a little bit of a more doomer mentality of this. I just don't really think that's going to be the case. I don't think it's necessarily true that this is going to happen, because there's a lot of major issues and a lot of issues that the established creators, the ones that are saying this, the big one. What is happening to my voice? Okay, before I got like haunted by like the voice demon there, what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of things that the big YouTubers now who like became successful years ago don't understand about the current state of YouTube and how that kind of thing isn't exactly possible. Now here's the thing, I want to say I think I have a solution, and it's a complete gamble, and it's also something I don't really like that all that much, but I do have a solution. But before getting into that, I'm going to talk about all the issues first. YouTube nowadays has a lot of competition, like a lot of competition. Like it's, I don't have the statistics, but I have to imagine it, the thing is probably like quadrupled or something. It is a hugely like competitive field, and of course there's like way more eyeballs, but there's way more competition, and so as a result it's way harder to like actually blow up and like, you know, become bigger. I think a lot of the big creators who often talk about these issues with YouTube blew up like when it wasn't as big, like the competition wasn't as fierce as it currently is, and so they think differently. They unsurprisingly think like, oh, it's still like, well, I'm assuming things, but I have to imagine they think to some degree that it's still like not as competitive, it's not as fierce, but that's not the case. I don't think if you like did what Jerma was doing years ago, or like what any like other creator that like blew up from their personality years ago, and you just start doing it now, you're probably not going to make it at all, because that's just not how the field works anymore. Like take for example Jerma, actually, you know, I'm just gonna keep using Jerma because he's like one of the best examples, and he's also like one of the like my favorite creators. He like, if he started like right now, like Jerma 985 he never existed, he'd been erased from history, but he just started right now. A new Jerma 985 showed up, and he just started doing like the content that he used to do, which is like the whole like TF2 gameplay commentaries, and just started uploading them here. He's definitely not going to blow up. Like I can say that with like 100% confidence, he's not going to blow up. He would never reach like the current state he is in right now, because the big advantage he had back then was that there was just not that much competition. There was very little competition, and it was also like more of a, YouTube was kind of in like the whole sphere where it was like kind of for like weird little nerds, for like a lack of a better term, I guess. You know, I think Doug's like content creation guide, which is a great video that I was actually initially hesitant on watching. Or well, not hesitant. Hesitant's like the wrong word, but it was a video where I was like, I kind of thought I already knew about like the majority of the video's contents, which it turned out to be the case. I watched a video and it was just him like basically reaffirming what I had suspected for like a very long time, except he's an actual like full-fledged content creator, you know, full-on big boy. And it was actually very nice watching that video and having my ideas get like reaffirmed. But I also think a very important thing in that video that he like made clear is that he was trying to like push people to be unique. He wasn't trying to get people to do like the same like generic kind of content. He was trying to get people to make like algorithmic I can't pronounce the word like algorithmically optimized video content, and also like having fun, like having a personality and having like a unique twist that like brings people watching you and continuing to watch you for you. That's one of the biggest things I really appreciate about that video, because I think he has like a much better understanding of what's going on with like the actual YouTube sphere going on. Anyways, here's the part of the video where I have a completely disorganized thoughts and I don't know how to transition into it properly. YouTubers copying other YouTubers. This is a topic that was brought up primarily from the Danny Gonzalez video, and it was a conversation that I had on Twitter from a person who has a private Twitter account, so I'm not actually gonna be sharing what they said because I don't know if they're gonna like find it like bad that I shared what they said because it's a private Twitter account, so I'm not going to. Anyways, here's what I said. Back in 2019, I remember I hated Tommy in it, primarily because at the time, if I remember correctly, the dude stole the same J-Schlatt jokes but put them in hypixel Skyblock, and that was kind of it, and I didn't like him as a result since I thought he was just a Schlatt copycat, and that was bad. Now that I've graduated from being 12 years old and also know a lot more about how the whole YouTube thing goes, and more specifically what I personally like about YouTube and creators, in hindsight, that was not a bad thing to do at all. It was actually really good. I completely agree that at the start, people are just going to copy the people they enjoy, which is seemingly what Tommy was doing. He was copying Schlatt, but eventually, at the end of the implementation, they formed their own personality and become unique, which is what Tommy did. I think nowadays, if I said Tommy in it is a Schlatt clone, people would just be confused as hell as to what the fuck I was talking about, since Tommy in it is his completely own guy now who's branched off from the creators he liked, at least I think. A little off topic, but I appreciate the whole copying a personality and eventually branching out a thing a lot more nowadays because it feels like the top end of YouTube is so optimized for views and retention and money to the point where they completely lack personality because it's bad for the views. To me, it feels a bit soulless, and it's worsened by knowing that these are the creators at the top. They're the cream of the crop. They're the best at performance-wise. And I think nowadays, with all this happening, it'd be really nice to see a new set of creators blow up whose content is surrounded by their personality, like another drama, basically, rather than the usual optimized content for the algorithm and blowing up through that. At least that's my 2 cents on it. Tommy and it may have quit hypixel Skyblock, but I'm still standing. I'm not happily standing, though. I should really escape from Skyblock hell. But anyways, now the big question is, how do I like make a channel where it's centered around like my personality? I guess this question's for me, by the way. How do I make a channel that's like centered around my personality? Dude, come on. This is like awful. I'm gonna keep this though because I think it's a little funny, and that's all that matters to me. But anyways, I'm trying to. What was I saying? I think the big question for me is to how do I actually make it as a YouTuber? How do I become successful when I'm doing a kind of content that like isn't very successful? It's hard to be successful with this. In fact, I don't actually know anyone who's like recently been successful by doing like the kind of content I'm producing, you know, videos that are centered around me or just me doing something stupid or just telling stories about me being stupid. Every video is about me just being stupid to some degree. I just made that realization. And I think I found a solution, but it's not really a solution I like all that much. And that is, I think I have to just collaborate with like more like bigger creators and then show off my personality enough to the point where like their audiences may just go to my videos and then start watching me for me. Like I think that's like the like quote unquote solution, which is not something I really like because it feels like I guess for a lack of a better word, again, it feels a bit off-putting. But I mean, this is a solution that I've thought of. I don't actually know if it would work. And I mean, to be completely transparent, the reason why I've been making like a lot of videos where I kind of know they're not going to get views, and you know, like the FNAF traumatized me video, I didn't really think that one was going to blow up or anything, or the I accidentally snorted pepper. I'm actually shocked that even has 100 views because it's like, dude, I'm just talking about how I snorted pepper. Why would you ever click on that? Like, the whole reason I'm making these videos is so I can build up a portfolio, so that way when like creators, or when I want to like reach out to creators or just network, when I want to network, people can just see like what I'm doing, and hopefully what I'm gambling on is that they're going to see me as like someone trying to be different, and they may be like, you know, let me into whatever thing they're doing that like can help me build an audience in the future, which at some point I'm just not gonna care, right? If I ever make it, if I ever be successful, I'm just gonna do whatever I want. That's the end goal. That's the reason why I want to, yeah, that's the reason why I'm kind of like stressing out about like trying to quote unquote make it. It's because the end goal for me is that I want to make it and then I just mess around. I just do whatever I want to do, which is kind of still what I'm doing right now. I'm still just kind of doing whatever I want to do. But that's my like end goal, to be like completely transparent. And also to like make friends. Actually, that's like a big point that I missed. I want to make friends. I'm actually very good at not making friends. I'm hoping this video can maybe get me like connected with a few more people. Probably not, let's get realistic here, but I want to make friends. That's also like a big thing that I want out of this whole entire YouTube thing, which is probably why I find it a bit like off-putting to try and like quote unquote like use other creators for like my own gain, because I just want to have friends, guys, please. I can't be a Skyblock player forever. Look at my friends list, man. You know, I find it like a little weird because I'm probably assuming this video blows up. A lot of people that are going to be watching are people who are like, they're probably going to think, oh, I'm going to subscribe to this small channel and help him out, you know, give him my subscription and give him the bigger number and help him out in his later endeavors. And it's like, here's the thing, if you're not actually watching my videos, it doesn't really help out that much. Not to be ungrateful or anything, you know, I'll take it. Hey man, I'll take it. But like the odds are you're probably just going to unsubscribe because this type of video is not something I produce very often. And at least for me, it's like, if you want to subscribe, I think you should watch my like other videos where I don't talk about YouTube, because that's like the actual like general feel. You know, watch my video where FNAF traumatized me. I was happy with that video, and it didn't perform very well, but I was okay because I kind of like thought it wouldn't. Anyways, that's kind of like all I have to say left. I don't have anything else to say. I've gone on for... There's probably a comment talking about how I, like, yap too much. And it's like, you know what? It's gonna get a lot worse. If this video blew up, then there's gonna be, like, a whole-ass essay in the comment section. I got bad news for that guy who's gonna say that comment inevitably. I don't know if it's inevitable. There's just so many words I just can't pronounce. I can't believe it. Anyways, yeah, that's about it. Bye-bye.